Good morning, Holy Brothers! Thank you very much for joining us this morning on our pathway to peace. Inside the Garden of Peace, if you're following along on the bottom of page 61, and today's lesson is going to be called Absolute Axis. What are we spinning around? What are we revolving around? You better be sure you have that in your mind, so you know at least which way you should be spinning. Counter, not clock. Clock, not counter. A husband must remember that the same holy Rabbi that warned us against chastising, against criticizing, against commenting, is the same Rabbi that teaches us to look for a person's good points and to always judge somebody favorably. It said, try to concoct a situation in your mind that there's some way that it can be that what you see happening or what is going on is actually not wrong in the first place. He said, if you saw somebody that was not religious necessarily driving on Shabbos, you might say the first thing is, that guy is not Shomer Shabbos. He's never kept Shabbos in his life before. He's just driving again like he always does. He's such a bad person, yada, 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 right? That's what you might think. But let's say you saw your rabbi or the greatest Gadol Hador in a car, the same car on Shabbos, driving on the same road. What were you thinking in your mind?
Emergency,
life and death, something's going on, crazy situation. You wouldn't think twice about it. That's the same way you should be judging the other guy who's driving on Shabbos, Rabbi says. Try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, even a totally wicked person, he said. Unbelievable Muslim. Crazy. A husband that internalizes both pieces of advice is a winner in two ways. Not just not doing negative, but also actually thinking positive about the other person too. So, firstly, he's seeing no fault in his wife. He's not looking for anything negative or bad in her. And therefore, if that's the case, he's never going to be dissatisfied with her, because he's not going to have anything wrong to look for her at. Secondly, besides for not doing something wrong, besides for not seeing negative, he's actually seeing positive in her. He's seeing the goodness, the absolute love, the amazingness, the awesome audaciousness inside of her. And then he's going to have love. He's going to have an attraction. He's going to be magnetized towards her, which gives her the power and the incentive to gratify him all the more so. There's a note at the bottom of this page, if you happen to be following along in the book. It goes from the middle road till the bottom of page 62, and we are not going to be learning that inside. We're going to be skipping that and going to chapter 3 for one simple reason. There is another book called, what's the woman's called? I forgot what it is. There's another book like this for women, and there's a book for men. We say that this book is in order for us to have an amazing marriage, because if you know what you're doing correctly, by definition, you will have amazing marital bliss and peace. If, however, let's say a husband is not a good guy, and he's a terrible person, and he always comments to his wife, and he always beats her emotionally, mentally, and God forbid physically, then you need an emergency situation where you can have another alternative to save the marriage and maybe have him come around from another angle. So there's a book for women in such a case. And also, if somebody is not able to not comment to his wife, and he has to say something, there are ways in which that can be done. We know this is not ideal. We're not going to talk about that because I think everybody here can be a black belt and do the right thing in the right situation and not have to violate on a lesser level. That's why we're going to skip to chapter 3. The central absolute axis. So marital bliss and supreme success rotate around a central absolute axis, which is a wife's knowledge that she holds in his eyes. She should be the number one, top, first place priority in his list of everything else in the world. When you want to do something, let's say I want to work out, I want to eat healthy, I want to read a book, I want to watch a movie, I want to go to the gym, whatever it might be, you make a list of your priorities. And usually the most important things you're going to make sure you do first, because if you don't have time for the other things at the end of the list, okay, they weren't as important. If you know Hispodidus is a top priority for you, you're going to make sure you get it done, no matter when it is, no matter what time of the day, And if you need to leave a little for later, fine, but make sure you are actually able to check that box off. Where does it hold a priority and importance in your life? And that's how you're going to make it meaningful and make it into reality. So your wife eventually has to be your number one priority. And if you're not married yet, you can use that for your mother to make her your number one priority. If she asks you to take out the garbage, you say, no, mommy, I'm not going to do it tomorrow. I'm not going to do it in 5 hours from now. I'm going to run with zrizas and alacrity and zealousness and excitement and positivity to show you how much I love you.
Then what is my father meant to be?
So your father is meant to listen to your mother, hopefully, when she tells him to do something too. So he could be a good influence for you. So you could see it. Look how your father acts to your mother. So now you say, that's the way we should act. Hopefully. Right? And you could always do more teshuvah. You could always be better, hopefully, than your parents, even if they're tzaddikim. Okay, so she wants to be the most important part in his life. And so he should strive to make her feel like she is the most important part of his life. If that's what she wants, how much more so should you be striving to accomplish that for her as well? A husband should seize carpe diem, seize the day, seize every opportunity to show her that she's absolutely first place in his life. Whenever you get a chance or a moment, run to accomplish that. If you know she's waiting for the dishes to be done, run to do it. Take out the garbage, run to do it. You know, my wife says, tonight the garbage has to be taken out. Do we wait for tonight? Ixnay, on the eating way, we do it right now. He should constantly remind her that he loves her more than anybody else in the world. And hey, honey, I love you the most, and I make you your number one priority. There was a thing on Instagram where a wife was asking her husband trick questions, right? So the wife says to the husband, if you're in a room with 10 women and me, who's the only woman that you're going to be looking at? So what does the guy say? Of course I'm only looking at you. So the wife says, what are you doing in a room with 10 women in the first place? And then she says to him, if you have 10 items that you love to do, and they are so important in your life, and I'm also there, which one are you going to prioritize above the others? So the guy thought about it for a minute, and he said, she's asking me another trick question. He said, honey, you are my number one item priority. So you know what she says? What, are you calling me an item now? A piece of your property? Like, no matter what he says, he tries to answer her good, she's going to find fault in it. But you know what? Baruch Hashem. That's what we have a wife for. She's here to constantly improve us, to get her to work on our midas, to try to find other ways to look at things. They're going to make us become the better person that we're supposed to be. And don't get upset. Don't get mad in the process, because it is bound to happen. Nobody is perfect. And if you are perfect, Hashem is going to show you how you're not perfect. And we say, thank God that He's showing me, because now I know why I'm in this world, because I know I have more to work on to become a better person, and I'm never going to be ultimately 100% perfectly blissful, because then I have no place in this world. There's got to be a reason that we're here, and there's always more that we can be doing. And somebody's got to be here to show us what that could be, and thank you for the opportunity. Got it? So we have to show her that she's number one priority in everything. And his actions, what he does, how he does it, the face that he shows when he does it, should bear witness to those words all the time. When she needs something, run, jump to do it with so much happiness and excitement in her eyes. When she opens her mouth, he should lend his ear as if she's about to say the most important thing in the entire world, even though it's probably absolute worthless garbage.
Bingo.
It might be, but you know what? It doesn't matter. That's the point. You should make yourself understand that even though it's worthless garbage, if she's saying something and she wants you to hear it, you're there for her, you care for her, you show her that you're a foundation, that you're her support, and that's what she really wants to say to you. Not the worthless garbage dribble that's coming out of her mouth. It's while I'm saying something, what are you doing with me in the process of what's happening at that moment in time? When a wife sees that her husband is doing every single thing in his power to please her, then she's going to feel like she's first place priority in his life. This feeling that she feels love with gives her indescribable, jubilant joy, supreme, solid strength, and actual, absolute, real vitality. He is ultimately the one that will benefit from all the sacrifices that he's doing for her. You think that you're giving, you think that you're losing, but I promise you, you're going to be the one who gains the most out of everything you're doing. You give her 10% of your energy, you're going to get back 20. So you give her 100, you're going to get back 200. It's all for you, you silly fool. Stop thinking that you're losing and understand that you're gaining in the long run. Her payback, he said, is tenfold. You give 10, you're going to get back 100, Rabbi says, from whatever he's investing and making her feel like she is the number one most important thing in his life at that time and all the time. You have something to say?
The tenfold you can get back. It's like a CD account in 5 years, or right away you get it.
So that's the beauty of it. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you can see it that night. Sometimes you can see it a year from now. But he promises that it will be that way. And the more you do give that way, the more you'll see that way. And sometimes, even on the first day that you're making that change and doing something different,
yep, it'll happen that day.
Sometimes that day you see it. You don't even have to wait. He's talking from personal experience. I'm not feeding him cards. I'm not telling him what to say.
Nobody said you are.
Expound for a moment.
Yeah. No, it's true. I witnessed it myself. I started to do it. Stop criticizing. Stop making remarks. And literally that day.
Not even one criticism? Nothing?
No,
Not even
no.
one?
And if I do, she
not even
tells
a
me,
face?
"No,
No.
you must have missed your class today."
She says it to him. I see a difference in you. Your personality, your tonality. You're so different. Off kilter. Something's askew. There's no question. You always need to be fortifying yourself and reinforcing yourself because the Yetzer Hara doesn't give up. Ma, very nice. You finish the book. Very nice. You went to a class. But you know what? Today I'm going to sink my teeth into you. And then you're going to lose. You're going to fall a little bit. But then you can come back up. You always have opportunity to do tshuva.
You should sponsor for the class, like shut your mouth bracelets.
Braces or bracelets?
Bracelets.
Maybe both.
It's like when you come to
shut your mouth,
thing like,
lock and key, throw it away.
Mouth,
and with that, have an awesome, graciously amazing rest of your day. Dun, dun, dun.